Welcome AP Economics students. This is Miss Foley giving you directions for AP College Board Exam Review Day 4A. If you are in Block 2, you're receiving this on May 4th, Monday, May 4th. If you are in Block 7, you are receiving this on Cinco de Mayo, Tuesday, May 5th. So please be aware of that. The topics that we're going to cover are Unit 5, Inflation, Unemployment, and Stabilization Policies, and Unit 6, Economic Growth. If you remember, there is not going to be any Unit 7 on your AP exam this year. So this will be all the total amount of macroeconomics content. Here is your checklist, what you need to worry about for today. You're going to be taking a look at the Review Day 4 Google document page. I'm going to go over that with you in a few moments. From that page, you are going to access my lesson on Unit 5 and Unit 6. I go over the review slides for that lesson. I also go over a free response problem for that lesson. And just like in days 1, 2, and 3, there is a quiz on material from Unit 5 and Unit 6, and it can be found in classwork on Google Classroom. What's a little bit different today, a little bit extra today, is that there is going to be an additional video that you need to watch. It's a review, some of the AP exam updates that I received that you need to complete. So you're going to be watching that video, and there's going to be a separate mandatory quiz that asks you questions just simply about what test day would look like, what you need to do, things like that. Kepler sang hello, Hudson sang hello, just so that you know. So that's going to be an additional assignment. That is not due at the end of class today. That instead is going to be due Thursday night. So please make sure that you get that completed. You can expect that next class, the agenda is going to be largely the live online session through Google Meet. We did that this past Thursday and Friday. It went really well. It was really awesome to see a lot of you, and it kind of made me feel a little bit back to normal. For those of you who could not attend that, I recorded the session. I recorded Block 7 session, and I uploaded that onto Google Classroom. So if you're in Block 2 or in your Block 7 and you want to watch that, that's how you can get credit for doing that. Now, taking a look at our inflation, unemployment, and stabilization policies. So when we take a look at this, there are 3 videos that you need to watch. This one is the lesson on Unit 5 and Unit 6. This is College Board. They give like a quick 5-minute update about how to take your exam, really helpful. I go a little bit more in depth. My update is a little bit longer. I go through some of the nuances and some of those questions. So that is something that you can take a look at. How are you going to be assessed? You will have Review Day 4 quiz is happening through classwork, just like Day 1, just like Day 2, just like Day 3. And there will be an additional separate mandatory quiz called the AP Updates Review Quiz. That's going to be on classwork, but that's not due until Thursday night. So if you're feeling a little inundated, if you're feeling a little overwhelmed, I just really need that to be done this week so that you are ready. There's some really important stuff that the College Board needs you to know. So just make sure that you have that done for me. I graded the Day 3 quizzes, and many of you did really well. These were just a couple of things that stood out to me that we want to make sure that you know. Please know that there is an inverse relationship. I'll write inverse relationship here. And Kepler is trying to remind you too. There is an inverse relationship between the price and or demand of bonds and nominal interest rates. So when nominal interest rates are low, bonds and the price of bonds are high. When nominal interest rates are high, the price and demand for bonds is low. Okay, so there was a question that addressed that. That it was like the three blank question. A few of you got that wrong, and I just want to make sure that you're very familiar with that because that's important stuff that you need to know. There was kind of like when some of you were doing the math, and this is something that I definitely think is going to be on the exam. You are to include, so if it says, like I think the question was Ross the boss deposited $1,000 into his bank account. Um, and then it said, how much in total will the maximum demand deposits possibly change? In that question, you needed to include that initial $1,000 deposit from Ross the boss. So yes, you include the money supply multiplied, but then you also include that initial deposit. You do not include the initial deposit if they're just asking what the total change in the money supply. For Ross the boss, if he had the money in his pocket or if he had the money in checkable deposits, it doesn't matter. That's all part of the M1 measure of the money supply. So when they're asking for maximum change in the money supply, they are asking about, hey, what was created money, what was lent out, and what was multiplied. And, because that original $1,000, that's already been counted in the money supply. Some people, kind of surprisingly, got the federal funds rate and the discount rate confused. It's very important to make sure we understand this. The federal funds rate is the interest rate that the Federal Reserve says banks charge other banks. So if I'm PNC and I need to borrow money from Bank of America, I pay using the federal funds rate. If I go to I'm PNC and I can't find any bank to lend me money and I need money to meet my reserve requirement, then I'm going to use something called the discount rate. And the discount rate is what will be charged from the Federal Reserve to the original bank. Okay? Couple of different other things. Next class is through Google Meets. I record one of the classes and I put it on Google Classroom. So if there's some reason that you can't attend, at least you can be part of it by looking at that and getting credit that way. Hudson is saying hello again. There is some optional resources here, some review for Unit 5 and Unit 6, very helpful, especially with the Phillips curve, and the loanable funds curve. That can sometimes be confusing. We have some extra practice here. We have the Khan Academy video, which is super helpful, and Mr. Clifford, who is the all-star AP Econ teacher, at least on YouTube. He does a really good job on Unit 5 and Unit 6, so that is where you can take a look. I miss you very much. I'm really excited to see many of you in live online on Wednesday and Thursday, and I will talk to you soon. Please, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out to me. So long.